Alright, so, here for the start of Act 7, which features largely the different, I guess you'd call them side characters. I mean, technically most Hot Wheels characters are side characters by the very definition, but like, different in this sense because like, they're, what's it called? They're side characters to the side characters, more or less. We have the Powerpuff Girls. We knew why they were here originally, but are they going to actually stay the course and help by doing what they always do? The delivery guy, or deliverer, or as I end up calling him, deliverance, because it sounds cooler. I could just change that now, but I don't really know if I care enough. After upgrading from his sloppy jalopy, Sims reference, he has something to prove since Alex insists on trash-talking his abilities and holding a bone right in front of his face but not giving it to him until he jumps high enough. You have Beat, who is out to tag something. Maybe he's just trying to get away from the police. There isn't much really in the way of security here. Plus, I think it's really only Japan that hates him, so... And there's no Japanese course in this game yet, and there probably won't be. You have myself. Well... Let's hope I stop commentators cursing myself, even though I'm in the same car I was in before, and I scored, like, the least amount of points. Captain Falcon, significant downgrade, but, you know... He loves a good race, so I don't see why he would just drive a super fast car here. Madison, the girl I ain't seen for 3 years, and after this, probably won't see again. Drives a better car than me, but I compensate for with experience, despite not having a driver's license, but I don't really think she does either. Mortimer, well, it's a different kind of thrills, but it's not completely opposite of what he normally does for a living. Except for we don't have loops here. Those are back in the Hot Wheels universe. Only suspension of disbelief is required for the next sequence, as the other drivers, of course, do not know it's the organizer. The only reason we know is because there's a name above his head. And above his car. Alex. Alex wouldn't miss a race for anything. He's the first on the track, the first to complete the track, and usually the first to leave the track. This guy just doesn't ever stop driving. And I guess that's one way to get really good at it, if you just continue to do it for a very long time. Burn. Running off of the track by daylight, by nighttime, he's running people off the road. Yeah, I wouldn't, he might be from space, but this is not, he's no Sailor Moon. This isn't going to be any kind of smooth sailing here. This is trying to hit people to the moon, in which case that might work. Rager Motor. He's finally been convinced that there is no immediately present danger here besides running into another car. Fenner decided to, despite Twinmail not even being here, get on the track for himself and just experience what these new competitors are like. He only has very minimal experience with a handful of these drivers based off of Turbo Racing, where he did just like 1 or 2 races. Raceman, after, a crippling injury, has finally recovered a handful of months later, but has been kind of relegated to a weaker car than he would probably want. He's relegated to an 80s 4-wheel drive ride, whereas Raceman is of course known for his outlandish hot rod type cars such as Street Rodder. And XT3, well, robots gather data through experimentation, among other things, depending on the kind of robot it is. So XT3 changed to keep experimenting with the racetrack, and at some point he might get even better than Gearhead is, though I find that highly unlikely. That's going to take a lot of gathering data to get better than him, being that he is like the supreme robot driver of the group. And he's also one of the most versatile players overall, because he can hold his own in a race and then also kick your behind in a combat situation as well. And to begin right here in America, right in Monterey, California, at Laguna Seca for 8 laps. I perhaps should have shortened the first race, or the first 3 races, because I had to explain the characters. Or I felt the need to explain the characters a tiny bit. It can tell a difficult corner because of all those different skid marks that go into the sand and not down the road. Be warned, I have cream soda, and for whatever reason, when I drink cream soda especially, I mean, any carbonated drink will do this, but when I drink cream soda, a lot of carbonation happens, which I think that's normal, but it doesn't usually come out like this. Also, this car is tacky. This is not the livery I have. This is the default livery for the car. Mine is a little more tolerable. The only thing that's changed since the preview from the end of Act 6, Chloe isn't here, and XC3 went back to his Act 2 car and gave Rigor Motor the Z4. Anyway, on pole for the first race is XT3, who shares the row with Captain Falcon. Buttercup appeared not very long ago. She finally found her way to the racetracks just shortly after Spa had concluded, which is ironic because Blossom was also found at Spa. Bubbles was, however, found at Red Bull Ring near the end of Act 4. Bubbles needed a lot of convincing to get to join the race, but Buttercup, she did not hesitate, and as you can see, there might have been a reason why she didn't hesitate. She seemed to already be perfectly acquainted with this vehicle, like it was meant for her. And maybe it is. Even though normally she prefers more aggressive cars. Cars like your Dodge Vipers and Chevrolet Corvettes, but she didn't get one of those, and she's kind of jealous of those that got one, such as Mortimer here. As the new Corvette. XT3 is already falling behind a little bit. This is... I don't know, I would say it's something new for XT3. Ugh. Ooh. Discount Zodic over here just gave XT3 a piece of his mind. That's not the organizer. Well, it is, but they don't know that. So I'm gonna pretend that I don't know that. I don't know how long we can keep this up for. It can't go on past this act. It's just not going to. Like, it's an addition, so I wanted it to be a part of the race at the same time. Other than willing suspension of disbelief, as in, like, you know, dramatic irony, I know, you know, the drivers don't know. There's no other way I could think of that it would actually work. And, yeah. Is he even trying to be subtle? I don't really think he is, if I'm being perfectly honest here. XT3 does take it in relative stride and only lost a few positions for that. But he shouldn't really have lost any at all. Also, I think Raceman may be creating a train. This car isn't terribly good. I thought this was a little better than this, but it's apparently not. Like, I wanted the idea of, like, Raceman's in a slower car, but, like, you know, easier to drive one, but I didn't think it had to be this slow. Jeez. Well, he hasn't outlawed forms of expression, but Beat's still after him for just his form of expression. And also just because he wants to express himself on the podium. Beat's definitely known for showing off, I'm sure, so... You know, if I'm gonna make all these, like, allegations and whatnot about the character, I should probably watch the games it came from. That would probably be, like, some smart thinking, but... I wonder if I ever been, beacon of wisdom, exactly. One driver that may actually finally struggle here is Alex, who has his Act 1 car, where some people have, like, Act 2 or 3 cars. And, yeah, he lost to the Supra and I think even 16 Angels in this car. Which both of those same cars, despite being driven by different characters, are here. Man, that lap time is... oh god, I am so sorry, Raceman. I don't think anybody wanted this for him. No. I can't do that to him. I'm not gonna make anything overpowered. I'm just trying to find something a little more even. Trying to think. What have other people driven? Something that's kind of... maybe this? Sure, we'll see how this works. I may have to split it now because of that, but... yeah, I'll definitely have to split it, because we're already 15 minutes into the recording, and we technically haven't started the first race. I mean, I guess this will give XG3 another chance to not get shoryukened by somebody. Unless, of course, he starts in front of the organizer again, in which case I don't think he's going to. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to call it the Lotus for this act, because that kind of, like, we know it's the organizer and they're not supposed to, but to act like I don't know, I'm just going to call it the Lotus, or the Lotus Evora, or the Lotus Carbon. We'll just call it Carbon. It's not bad, actually. Yeah, I might just call it Carbon. That's not terrible, now that I think about it. It's kind of a car-based name, sort of like we did with Burn. Just kind of change his name. I think the Powerpuff Girls didn't really get very good luck here. I cannot do that. Alright, so yeah, we have a mostly different starting grid here. Those revs build very fast. Let's just see how Carbon runs through the field here. That's got a ring to it. I don't know. That might be the new name. We'll give it a run. I'll see how I like it in this episode, and if not, we might not be calling it the Organizer at all. I mean, we might have both names. Like, we'll call it the Organizer or Carbon. And, the idea was it was always going to be in a black car, because, you know, ominous. But, there's actually more of a reason if we call him that, because Carbon is just, you know, this color. Okay, so it's not looking like Graceman's in a much faster car here. Folks, we may have screwed up again. But here's one of the things about Raceman. Because of the person he is, he has access to so many of these other cars because he's just a renowned racer as it is. And he can just sort of pick and choose which car he wants. Ooh! That wasn't even, that was Raceman that did that. What the heck? I guess maybe his left foot still hurts and he couldn't brake properly or something. And Captain Falcon is running down the leader. Sort of running into the future right now. Granted, it seems the organizer does have a pretty swift vehicle. So maybe that is part of it. Maybe Raceman isn't that bad. Though I just smoked him like he was nothing, and I'm not in a great car either, so I don't know. It looks sporty, it looks fast, but it just isn't. This is my Act 2 car, actually, so maybe I should have known that this car wasn't very good either, but I just thought, like, you know, I wanted to have a slower car, but not a terrible car, which is what I had in before. Also, rigger motor isn't much better. Okay, this might be a problem. Well, Captain Falcon instead created a 4-car train of 2 of the Powerpuff Girls, Deliverance, and himself, whereas Beat is just sort of taking off. I was going to say or maybe Ryan Storm was weighing me down in his car. No, the opponents just have slightly lower lower performance vehicles, which gives me more of a chance. No R8s or 911s here. See how we're, oh, no, hi Mortimer, alright, this is fine, oh, this is, there's always one, I'm pretty sure, there's always going to be one, and I'm pretty sure, I bet you Raceman's creating a big train right now too. Oh my god, he can barely even climb that hill. Yep. The train behind him, Byrne, Madison, and XT3 are right on his trail. They just can't get around him because they don't really have the place to. Yeah, I mean, what are the lap times like there? He's in 142s. They're in 38s though. And Beats it at 37. This car isn't overpowered. I know that for a fact. It won races, but it isn't. It's just the AI for Beat is on top of its game right now. That's it. I know that car is perfectly fine with Supras and Crossbows and Cobras, just that Captain Falcon isn't at the top of his game right now, and Beat is. So I'm not changing his car, despite the fact that he has a 5-second lead already. So I think this won't be an official part of Act 7. This will be Act 7 testing. Live testing, which is the first time I've done so. Because basically, most of the other cars are working pretty well here. The only ones that are having really big problems being... I think Alex is fine, honestly, in this car. This isn't necessarily about him, per se. I mean, he needs to be competitive, but this is about the additions. Not about the Team Hot Wheels drivers. This is more about the likes of the Powerpuff Girls and all the ones that make up the top 6 right now, honestly. Of course they're going to be here. They always will be, and there's nothing I can... There's no plausible reason I can give for them not to be, but just like... Especially when I don't have 15 additional drivers. I only have 10. Because I took out Chloe, because I don't know. I feel like having her takes away the original idea of Madison. Madison, the person I know from real life, with a real-life backstory behind her. Chloe's just sort of there, or was sort of there. It worked in some way, because she was there to partner Madison, being, you know, both my old classmates from between 2nd and 8th grade. But now it just doesn't really have the same effect after that. And so, I don't think Chloe will be appearing again. Madison will be, of course. Again, like I said, she has a purpose. She has a, like, logical, real-life explanation for why she's here. Because she hasn't seen me in forever, and we were friends at one point, and the race is a chance for her to see me again after, like, you know, 3 years, and probably for the last time for the rest of our years. I never even had much of a relationship with Chloe. I just thought she looked pretty, which is kind of shameful, but that's it, really. That's mostly the reason why she's here. I mean, a lot of shows have at least a character that is kind of there to look cute, like Bubbles, or for the Phineas and Ferb fans, that was mostly what Isabella was there for. Good Damn Kids Next Door kind of had number 3 that served that purpose. What else was there? Of course, there's some shows where really the entire point of all of the characters is to be cute. That's actually what the Powerpuff Girls was. Or, like, Sailor Moon would be another one, I think. But I think that's just kind of a whole... That's really the whole anime thing. That's not necessarily the personality thing. I haven't actually ever watched Sailor Moon yet. I just know a person that knows way more about it than they have any like, absolute necessity to. Because they have any right to. They have the right to love the show. Now, with the Powerpuff Girls and Phineas and Ferb, so I really can't say anything in that regard. Because there's 2 cars here as well. Buttercup can't pass Mortimer unless she also plans to pass Alex at the same time. And Buttercup is aggressive and reckless, but she's not that bad. She does have some degree of intelligence. Speaking of intelligence, Blossom is trying to pass Bubbles now. And that almost put her in the sand and trying to do so. So there'll be probably, there'll be 3, maybe 4 adjustments I'll be making. 5, because I'm not going to make this the first track again. It's going to be further down the list now. Because I've had this test here. I'll put it in the list still, of course. But it won't be in, like, the first episode. It'll be in at least episode 2 or later. Not to mention, Beat is winning, but we've seen much worse. Figure Beat has driven that Porsche before. Captain Falcon is completely new to the Shelby Cobra. Certainly have not seen much from Carbon here. So it does that in the name of the car too. That's quite convenient. Oh, Alex has been damaged by something. I know what that something is, just based off of the damage, where it is and how bad. But just like, I'm assuming Mortimer did it somewhere, probably in the corkscrew, because the downhill left into a right. Dip. Alright, so of course Beat does win the race. That would, I guess, would be like 9 seconds probably. I think 2. It's a very big distance between Carbon and Alex though. Alex, I think, was the train that Alex was leading, and then that train that Raceman was leading, and the train that Captain Falcon was leading, basically were the entire field of cars. Kind of glad time was working more running back there anyway. Oh, wow. That's almost 5 seconds slower than everyone else. The Z4 is not that slow. I don't understand what is wrong with it in this game. I feel like there would be slower cars here than this, but then again, I know for the lower powered cars, that step 1 thing, which is like how much the car's tuned, that can make it slower because the AI have to take longer to get on the gas. So. But I don't think that even that is enough of a difference. I think it's just the Z4 overall is a bad car in this game. Like, technically, even Raceman wasn't far off. But that's only because I'm probably getting confused because I also see XT3 and Burn running those same lap times. However, they were just stuck behind him the entire race. So, that's it for the test, and this will probably go up after episode 1. So we will have a double upload because I'm going to upload the actual thing once I've made those 6 changes. Which would be 3 cars, 1 driver name, the track list, and the distance of this race. Bring it down to 6 or 7 laps and not 8. These points don't matter because to make those changes I have to reset the thing anyway, so yeah. I guess I can show how I make those changes. Yep. So rounds, down to 6 laps. And move it to here. Oh my god, that's a lot of... No, there's 5 laps there. I do it here, and I'll do it 7 laps. So we'll start at Imola instead. Drivers. Change a few cars around. I don't know what really to give them though. That's the main problem. Actually, I might have an idea for Raceman. I do not have an idea for Raceman. Because I was thinking this, but this almost beat Alex's F40. Alex doesn't have that F40 anymore, and so therefore it wouldn't really be even that way. Actually, I think I'm gonna go with, this was That's car. Plus it kind of, it's a convertible, so it gives Raceman the same kind of hot rod feel, without being a hot rod. As for Rigger motor, I'm gonna give him Vert's Act 1 car. Only red livery is this one, so he will get this one. He is 67, apparently. The only concerning thing is that that would be now better in every way than XT3's car. Since the Mercedes-Benz 190E is in the same category by stock as XT3's car. But when you put racing modifications on it, it gets a lot worse. It gets some better handling and some better performance as a whole. Though I think XT3 may actually just be that car with the same modification. I might have to just put him in one anyway. Because it would be nice to see XT3 in a competitive car. This is the awkward part. That's why I didn't do it sooner, because none of these liveries fit him. He's either red or green, not white or black and yellow. Or purple, with Purple Passion and Turbo Racing, but there's not that here either. You get white, red, and blue, black and yellow, or white, red, and blue. I think that's more fitting for him, though. Alright, so this will be a bonus episode, like I said, and the episode will be basically recorded immediately thereafter.